Hello, viewers. You won't believe the chaos that's about to land on your doorstep, or should I say, on your wallet. Today, in Boss Economics World, we're going to dive headfirst into the whirling tornado of economic mayhem caused by President Donald Trump's so-called economic genius, a man who seems to believe that throwing a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada is the solution to every problem in America. Welcome to the latest edition of How to Crash an Economy in 3 Easy Steps. Buckle up, folks, because this roller coaster ride into recession territory is going to be a wild one. You see, Trump's got beef. He's angry that Canada and Mexico are letting in billions of illegal immigrants who steal jobs, smuggle drugs, and don't contribute to society, at least according to the former president. Now, instead of addressing complex cross-border migration with nuanced policies or, let's say, anything resembling diplomacy, he's going to barrel straight into a trade war with America's 2 closest economic partners. This reckless lurch towards tariffs isn't just a minor scuffle with your neighborhood grocer over a price tag, no, this is a geopolitical brawl with gigantic consequences. Let's review Trump's playbook real quick. If there's a problem, slap a tariff on it. Trump's reasoning. Why should we be enriching other countries while our citizens struggle? So far, so populist, right? But here's the rub, more tariffs don't mean you magically bring back jobs or convert trade deficits into surpluses overnight. In fact, let's be clear about one thing. Tariffs are indirect taxes on consumption, they're taxes, period. Instead of targeting foreign producers, Trump's tariffs are more likely to cause prices to skyrocket for American consumers. So who's really footing the bill here? Spoiler, you. By imposing up to 25% tariffs on our largest trading partners, yes, folks, we're talking about Mexico and Canada, a partnership worth $1.8 trillion, with Trump is willing to upend bank accounts nationwide in the name of border security. He wants to salvage some nationalist pipe dream, where the U.S. economic machine runs on isolationism. But have you ever tried running the most complex economy on earth while hiding behind trade walls? Let's just say, history hasn't exactly been kind to that idea. Economists from Bloomberg have dropped a bombshell, bluntly proclaiming that slapping this tariff hammer on North America is basically the equivalent of shooting yourself in the foot while trying to win a race. Nicole Gordon-Caratelli and Maeva Cousin sum it up pretty well. The tariffs would cripple U.S. automakers. Let's break that down in real terms. The USMCA governs a giant chunk of the very system that produces, assembles, and sells cars across all 3 countries. The transport sector is one of the most integrated sectors here, so when Trump slams his gavel on new automotive tariffs, guess who's paying more for their next car? Fun fact, GM, Ford, and Stellantis, all iconic American companies, source as much as 40%, 30%, and 25% of their cars from Mexico and Canada. What happens when you hit those imports with a 25% tariff? Prices balloon. Wolf Research ran the numbers and suggests that new car prices could rise by about $3,000. Let me toss a few more numbers at you, because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but maybe a few good stats are worth much more. Stellantis NV, makers of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Fiat, oh yeah, those guys, would see imported costs exploding. We're talking tens of billions of dollars in auto parts and 4 million finished vehicles slammed with sudden tariffs. Those tariffs don't just disappear into thin air either. No, automakers either pass those costs on to you, the buyer, or worse, they scale back production or move jobs overseas to non-North American countries that haven't been tariffed by Trump's slap-happy trade hand. And it's not just cars. Think about all the other highly integrated industries caught in the crossfire. The unwound economic linkages would decimate industries, from agriculture to manufacturing, whose supply chains crisscrossed the 3 North American neighbors. But Trump didn't stop there. No, he's one-upping his previous bombast by suggesting, wait for it, a universal tariff on all foreign imports. I'm not ready for that yet, so says Trump, but do we dare trust that wanderlust for tariffing the world won't eventually materialize? One thing's for sure, anyone with even an elementary understanding of international trade can tell you such tariffs are hell for global trust, market certainty, and consumer prices. Let's also throw something else into the mix here. Let's talk about the granddaddy of unintended consequences, the ripple effect. First, you've got your trade war. Tariffs are basically a tax on goods. Don't listen to anyone who tells you different. Markets panic with swift ferocity when there's even the hint of tariff hikes, as we saw from the rapid 1.4% drop in both the Canadian dollar and the Mexican peso upon the mere suggestion of tariffs by Trump. Those investors. Man, they're wheeling those dollars into anything safe, anything solid, and that anything is the US dollar. Which is, of course, what happens when fear gnaws at global markets. Well, guess what comes right afterward? Inflation. Look, it's damn simple. When your tariffs force prices to rise on imported goods, inflation follows. When the inflation thermostat ticks upward, what do you get? An interesting game of whack-a-mole with the Federal Reserve when it comes to interest rates. Are you waiting for your house mortgage interest rate to drop? Hoping for a better credit card APR? Forget about it. The more inflation spikes, the more the Fed is out of room to lower rates. Sorry, folks, but your little dream of more affordable borrowing just went up in flames. Say hello to a decade of high borrowing costs if Trump's tariff carnage sticks around. But that's not even the weirdest part of this whole affair. I mean, who looks north, to one of America's oldest allies, Canada, and points the finger? Trump's really threading the conspiracy needle if he thinks fentanyl is pouring over the Canadian border in droves. The U.S. Border Patrol's own numbers shoot holes in that claim, showing just 50 pounds of fentanyl seized at the northern border compared to 20,600 pounds at the Mexico border in 2022. And let's talk retaliation. When you're president, throwing around 25% tariffs like Halloween candy comes with consequences. You bet Canada is going to fight back. Their government has already drawn up $105 billion worth of American-made goods to slap with their own retaliatory tariffs the day Trump pulls the trigger. Things could get a lot uglier before they get better. And don't think Mexico's taking this sitting down either. They're walking a delicate tightrope, hinting they might reduce Chinese imports, negotiating their way into Trump's good graces, and even carrying out their biggest ever fentanyl seizures on record just to appease him. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum's playing limbo with Trump right now, trying to avoid plunging Mexico back into another 2008-like economic nightmare. That's the crux of it right there. This isn't a policy grounded in economic comebacks. This isn't smart globalization riding into town. This is brinkmanship economics, where you create chaos and panic, and hope somehow you can manage the aftermath before everything burns down. Want to know how Mexico assesses the situation? They're fretting about the $800 billion in annual trade, a number that could plummet if these tariffs see the light of day. And don't kid yourself, the result wouldn't just be inflation on the rise here. Mexico could slip back into recession, and it could get ugly real fast if these tariffs escalate further. We're witnessing an economy dangerously straddling two worlds, one where globalization still rules, and another where nationalism is trying to catch fire. It's important to understand just how deeply integrated America is with Mexico and Canada, and how crucial maintaining these relationships are to the very fabric of our economy. This isn't the time to slap on trade blinders and sprint backward into isolationism. Letting relations fray over crude, populist ideas of economic nationalization, tariffs on our backbone, the downfall might hit faster than you think. This is Boss Economics World signing off with a final, dire warning. The next chapter of America's economy is shaping up to be one of the ugliest battlefield brawls we've seen between populist politics and economic reality. Pray your wallet doesn't get caught in the crossfire. Until next time, stay sharp, keep informed, and guard your savings, because hell's coming, and it's coming fast.